Hi, Sarah.
Hello. Hi, Shimrit.
Hi, so wonderful to see you and to have you here. And thank you for making the time to do this, to have this conversation with me and to share your story and your experience. And maybe I can introduce you. So you are Sarah from Chicago. You're a mother and a librarian, and we've been working together for just about 3 months. Um, and yeah, thanks again for being here. And maybe we can start with sharing a little bit about what were the things that brought you to reach out to me in the first place. What were you struggling with before starting working with me and doing this program?
Okay. So hello, everyone. Immediately before starting the program, I had just ended a relationship, and it was my second marriage, actually. So I was feeling a lot of failure and a lot of guilt and a tremendous amount of overwhelm, like for the future, and sadness and depression. But I had also been almost 4 years grieving the loss of my two children, two of my children. I still have three living children, but and that was a tragic sudden accident. But I think that I just carried all of the grief and all of the weight of that in my body and in my mind, and I had never had the opportunity to fully heal from that, as well as wounds from childhood and things like that that I needed to address in a safe, loving environment. So I had been a witness of the Master Your Path group on Facebook, and I had kind of been watching a little bit of videos or answering a question here and there. And it had always resonated with me, very, very peaceful and very kind of something that I wanted to move towards. But it wasn't until that relationship ended and I was kind of scared and hopeless and kind of in a lost place that I decided to reach out and see if I could do something with Shimrit and the program.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I'm curious to know. I mean, I know, but I think it would be interesting, and maybe other people who will be watching will be curious to know if you've ever before tried anything else, to work um, around the grief and the emotional pain. Um, if you ever tried anything else before.
Yeah, so I had gone to a regular psychiatrist and psychotherapist. And then since COVID started, I think I had been doing an online therapy, but I never stuck with the same person for any length of time. A lot of that was because, due to my own depression or whatever was going on with me, sometimes I would retreat and not make it to my appointment. And then I would end up wrapped up in guilt around standing someone up or not meeting my requirements. Sometimes they even asked me not to come back because I had scheduled too many appointments that I missed. So this was one of the things that I brought up with Shimmer when I was considering the program. And she told me, and she followed through with this throughout my entire program, that she was dedicated to, following up and reaching out, and that it was never going to be a harsh thing of making me feel guilty, which that's all internal anyway. It was all in me, but it was something that was very hard for me to push through to get the help that I needed. And so with Shimrit, when I would miss or when I would be late, she would gently send me a message or sometimes follow up and ask me, when we could reschedule. She was actually very, very accommodating to me. So I really appreciated the fact that we were able to get all the work done, even though I still struggled with some of that throughout my 3 months program with her.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. And maybe you can share a little bit, on the inside of the program or the process or working with me. What would you say was most helpful, or anything you find relevant to share here, from within the process and the program?
Yeah, so from the very beginning, the sessions were extremely valuable because there was always something that I could take away. And I think the earliest sessions we did somehow ended up centering around a dream from my childhood.
Yeah.
And I was able to work through a lot of caregiver wounds and just a lot of perceptions of myself, initiated by that. But then there are also just the processes where we're journaling or writing down something. One in particular was the list of um, thought patterns, old thought patterns versus newer, centered, or higher self thought patterns. That was integral to me developing a new voice for myself, and trying to listen to that new voice much more often than the negativity that was in my head. That I was really drowning under a lot of negativity, and so the simple processes and the practices that we did in group together were so extremely helpful, as well as the meditations to kind of reveal what was possible. So in one of the meditations, I met my higher self, and that it was something I had never experienced or done before, but it was extremely motivating and helpful also in me developing that voice and believing that voice that has positive and good things to say about any situation or feeling that I'm having. So I think that those were probably some of the most helpful things I did with Shimrit, and then also connecting with um, the teacher Danielle that did the exercises on meditations with the chakras. I was able to learn a lot about where my stuck energy was and where my blocked areas were, and learn about how to use my own power and my own self to heal those places in my physical body, and to correct some of that blockage and that stuck in negativity. So, without ever feeling like an expert or completely understanding it, I was still able to enjoy the practice and let go of a lot of things, and feel a big difference in my mental and emotional and physical body.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm curious to know if you find any kind of peak or pivot point through within this 3 months process that you've gone through. If there was some, epiphany moment or pivot point, um, throughout sometime throughout this process.
Yeah, so we had a day, and
Okay.
I think that Shimrit remembers this day, but it was a very difficult day from the moment I opened my eyes. And when I'm thinking back now, I'm remembering how regular those days were for me,
Yeah.
that I would wake up feeling so hopeless
Yeah.
and so overwhelmed. And this particular day, I woke up and I just knew there was so much for me to do. I was newly on my own. I had my children going through their school. I had my own graduate school, my career, and all of these things were just setting on me like a weight. And I was sure I was going to fail everyone and possibly take myself to the hospital. So I was in a very, very dark and low place. And I don't remember if I first reached out to Shimrit or she first just checked on me, because she does check on me. But I was able to share with her how bad the space I was in, and we didn't have a scheduled appointment, but she gave me a call, and we were able to get on a Zoom and do a short meditation. And even then, when the short meditation, I still felt a little low. She just asked me to stand up and do some jumping jacks. And we worked through the process. We even talked a little later on in the day. But throughout that day, I was able to really actually meet um, myself where I needed to, and find how to access that new voice, the voice really that it just speaks in loving kindness to myself. So it was so precious. And then the follow up, she followed up later in the day, and then I think we had a group call that weekend still, and all of that seemed like the point where it wasn't that everything was getting better, because it wasn't yet, but it was really digging deep down into the resource of myself and finding that person that could walk right alongside me, um, for the rest of my life, because it's me. So so that was really enlightening. After that, I lost the sense of hopelessness and fear. And so when challenges would come up, or when I would fail, or when I would, I was just able to be a lot softer and easier with myself. And I'm continuing to work on myself. I have so much to do, but I have a different empowerment, feeling like I have everything that I need inside of me and with me. And so I'm just very grateful, very, very grateful for all of that and for this program.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I remember that day, and I was having shivers when you were talking about that, about the transformation that happened after that. Because I think really we were getting on this kind of SOS quick session, and I think we had a session the day after, another kind of follow-up session that we said that we want to do. And then a few days after was the group session, and you were like a whole new Sarah on that session and inspiring everybody else. And really since then, just like you're saying, there's just a lot of the things that you were carrying with you since I first met you was just kind of gone. This energy, this very heavy energy was just gone. And since then, every time I see you, you're just so much more open and happy and light and inspiring everybody else in the group as well. So I'm so thankful for being available on that day, and for you to share that now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. This changed my life.
Amazing. That's just the biggest reward I can ever ask for, really. And maybe you can, so you kind of started sharing already what are the outcomes for you from this journey. Maybe there's specific things, or just more for you to say that you see as results of this program, of this journey.
Yeah, so one other thing we've talked about is the physical sensations that have changed, and my lower back was giving me a lot of pain, and I just had my 35th birthday last week, but before the program I was feeling even much older than that, and I was just kind of hobbling around, feeling not healthy either. So small changes in habits, which were inspired by the program, like drinking more water and taking care of my body and waking up on time and getting a decent amount of sleep. Those things have helped, but also specifically in the meditations, there are guided ways of healing and releasing blockages in certain areas. And I truly believe that that pain I had in my back was due to a major blockage in that chakra area, and that there was a lot wrapped around the guilt of everything that I was able to kind of face and am still, releasing, but have released a lot of, that was holding some pain in my body. So anything that you have, if you're holding it in your body, I think that this is a good opportunity to look at it and send love there, and get the help that you need to guide yourself through that, because that was one of the major outcomes. And then the other is just a new voice for myself, and that's what I continue to call it, is because I was not treating myself very well or speaking to myself very well. And so a lot of the practices, a lot of the mantras, a lot of the discussions, everything that we've done has led me to kind of cultivate a new perspective, which gives me that new voice to motivate and encourage myself through my life, and whatever I need to do and accomplish.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so grateful to hear that and to have you share that with other people. And I'm sure this can be so valuable for people who are struggling right now with similar things that you were struggling with. And are considering reaching out for help and doing something like this. And I wonder if you have anything to tell anyone who might be watching this and is considering, if you have any message for those people, for that person.
Yes, I would say, for me, there was a little bit of reservation around the idea of, what if I put myself into this and then at the end I don't have anything to show, or what if I invest the finances and then, that puts me in a more stressed position, and then I react badly to that. So I did have a lot of fears around that at first. But what calmed me was actually just being able to have a call with Shimrit where we discussed it, and just understanding that from what I had already seen her share in videos, this was the energy that I needed to be around. And so it was kind of a leap of faith, but I would encourage you to do it, because if you've already connected with something, a video or a online program or anything that Shimrit has shared with you to get you to this point, um, then you are looking for something, and it's there. It really is there. The value is there, and it's no question about that. So I would say, take that leap and invest it in yourself, because it's going to be amazing as much as you make it. And you're going to be able to get to that point of being the self you want to be when you see that reflection, whatever it is you're drawn to. I think that if you're here, it's probably a good idea.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This means so much to me, to have you share, and to have you as my dear client and friend. And I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you. And
Yeah, me
yeah, thank you
too.
for this time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah.
Okay. Bye bye.